on top of the world, about to jump above it. Take it straight to the moon, 'cause we know how to rock it. Ain't no thing you can do, ain't no way to stop it. Now you're feeling it too, let's get it started. Throw your hands in the air while the beat is dropping. Acting like you don't care when everybody's watching. Just keep whipping your hair like that, you got it. Yeah, you're feeling it too, let's get it started. I'm ready, ready. Let's get it, get it. I'm ready, ready. Are you ready, ready? Let's get it started. Off the meter, turn it up, blow the speakers, make them all to believers. Break through the surface, tell them open the curtains, give them all what they wanted. Yeah, now let's get it started. I'm ready, ready. Let's get it, get it. Yeah, I'm ready, ready. I'm ready. Are you ready, ready? I'm ready. Let's get it started. Yeah, yeah, I'm ready, ready.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. It is time for Friday night racing action for NASRA Triple M Pulling Truck Series for race number 5 here tonight, as the drivers had a little bit of a change-up. Originally scheduled for that of North Wilkesboro short track racing, instead was a late change earlier this week. The drivers wanted to switch it up, decided to come to Kentucky for race number 5 for the A's Lawn and Landscaping 200 here tonight. And we're excited to give you all the coverage on LSRTV. My name is Sam Dyer. With me is going to be that of Kevin England. And Kevin, we've watched these drivers these past couple of weeks. Got to see a new driver win last week with that of Brady LaBeouf, getting himself back into victory lane. But for here tonight, a little bit, going back to kind of what we were talking about before this broadcast, a track that's kind of cookie cutter and expected to see here tonight.
Yeah, the truckers are out on the track right now, finishing up practice. This racetrack races fast all the way through. These drivers have plenty of space to run, and, that should make for an interesting race here tonight, Sam. It's all about the precision of the lap in order to be fast around here, but you also got to keep good company with whoever's next to you.
Yeah, the draft going to be something to worry about, tire wear, but this course, kind of a flatter surface than some of the other mile-and-a-half courses. The drivers are going to be really aiming to find the speed on the low side, but also because of some of the aero changes that's been coming into iRacing here recently, I would say that we're going to also expect, Kevin, a little bit of side-by-side racing like we're seeing here. Drivers currently underway with practice right now for a little bit under 3 minutes to go, and then they're going to have 10 minutes of qualifying and then 135 laps of racing action. So the drivers are going to be testing still right now, but it seems like, as you can see, the drivers, they've raced Kentucky a lot throughout these seasons, and some of them are more so just having fun during this practice time, but understanding it's go time once qualifying's up.
Yeah, 135 laps the distance, and you do have to run hard right from the green. Try to get yourself up in that front pack and keep the truck clean. A little bit of damage to the truck will cause you some issues. We were talking to some drivers earlier tonight, just asking them where their fuel mileage was. Looks like, Sam, 42 laps, they're about 42 and change, and that should make an interesting couple segment race, because with the space on this racetrack, we would expect we're going to see some green flag runs tonight.
Yeah, we're expecting green flag runs, and that's going to be a lot of green flag. Expecting at least one green flag pit stop during Stage 3, as Stage 1 and Stage 2, both going to be 30-lap segments. The Stage 1 going to be on lap 30, Stage 2 finishing on lap 60. So expecting just green flag racing, but we've seen this, Kevin, throughout the season in these stage, starting points, with it being more of a shootout in these Stage 1 and Stage 2. Sometimes some of our top runners seem to be having some bickering moments, make some contact, cause some wrecks, even in the middle of the field, trying to scratch and claw for every position, because only the top 10 get bonus points at the end of Stage 1 and 2. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see at least a couple of cautions through the first 60 laps of this race.
Yeah, looking at the speed charts tonight, a couple familiar names up top. Brady LaBeouf won last week. Ed Wade's up there. Jose Luis Rivera's been showing a lot of speed. And then you look, Michael McKinnon sitting fifth on the board, and out top is Stephen Gregory. So a couple, we keep changing, and we talked about this in the opening and in the first couple races. The dynamic of the racetrack has changed from week to week. Super speedway, road course, short track, and so on. So tonight, it's a mile and a half. It's an interesting dynamic of a change, and we'll see if other drivers come to the forefront in this type of racing.
Yeah, speaking of Ted Wade, who's doing quite well for practice currently, kind of one of our more consistent drivers, had internet issues last week. We'll see if the internet woes have cleaned up, because we know that 2 truck can be extremely fast. Other drivers to watch out for that are still looking for their first win. Stephen Thomas, he's going to be a driver in my eyes to watch out for. Not the fastest right now, but he's been Mr. Consistent, tied with the most top 5s and top 3s with 3 apiece, with only one race where he was outside of the top 5 and top 10. But practice is coming to a conclusion as you see the timer ticking away. It is qualifying time, and to see who can get our Blanchard Towing Pull Award, as also we take a look at the weather. Here's what the weather's going to look like for these 10 minutes. 80 degrees is the ambient temperature, 82 is the track temp, a little bit of a breeze of 6 miles per hour, but that partly cloudy, and with us being under the lights, the sun's gone, the track might cool off just a little bit here during qualifying, but Kevin, I think we're expecting this track to really stay stable through all of this qualifying.
Yeah, drivers are usually really sensitive, and some of them determine whether or not they're going to go out right away or wait and see if it drops a degree or not. But I agree with you. I think the track temp is going to probably hold at that 82 degrees. And, well, it wasn't a deterrent to Kyle Hess. He jumped out there right away, and he comes down. You can't call this a straightaway, can you? The whole curved front of Kentucky makes an interesting dynamic to this racetrack, because you're almost always in a turn. Runs off a turn number 2, uses all the racetrack down the back straightaway. Going to dive down here into turn number 3, and we'll see what kind of lap he can put up.
Yeah, coming out turn number 4, hitting the front stretch, and I mean, yeah, not the front. She's not the straightaway per se, like you said. A little still banking all the way through, and it's going to be a 31.0 looking like for Kyle Hess. We'll wait for it to be confirmed. It's going to be a 31.042 for his first lap, and with it being under the lights, nighttime racing here at Kentucky, this second lap is projected to be faster just because you're putting more heat into the tires on this second lap, but it's all about that consistent run out of turn number 4. Kyle Hess in the 86, going to be trying to best his 31.042. Across the line might be it, but we have to wait for confirmation on that time, and it will not be better. The first lap fastest for Kyle Hess, not going to be pole position for now, as we move over to last week's winner, Brady LaBeouf, in the 9.
Yeah, LaBeouf out there putting in his time. He was fast in practice. He ran a 36.94. Right now, 39.94 was what you saw. And, I look at the times. These drivers are all within hundreds of each other, some of them. And one thing you notice here, Sam, in qualifying, and I think we're going to see it in the race too, is they'll sweep up out of turn number 4 to try not to kill any momentum, but then they sweep down and cross that yellow line and run right through that apron to the start-finish line to get as much speed as they can.
Yeah, and see the 1 now, Jason Morales going to be One of our drivers that showed up as debut race last week at Auto Club had a very fast very fast during practice, didn't have the strongest qualifying, and came away with a pretty strong run for this one later on. 9th currently after lap number 1 with 31.104. Expected this to be faster, trying to be right on that crease of the low line, and here comes the one out of turn 4, letting the truck drift high, come arching back down low, get as much momentum as possible, and looks to be faster on that second lap, and is Morales going to be with a 30.947, going to be best for 8th currently on the board. But here's another driver who's been pretty consistent this season. It's going to be that of Robert Richards, going to be in the 48, coming out to qualify.
Yeah, Robert Richards, 2 top 5s on the season, and from laps led, he's right there in that top 5, 37 laps led so far in the races that we've had up to this point. Richards having a solid season, trying to put more together here as he sweeps way out and catches the wall. That is not going to work. We're going to see him stop, reset, and go back in. When you, in the sim, if you tap the wall, your lap is not counted. So we'll switch to Mr. NASRA. I mean, what else could you say about Daniel Balder? He's just been on fire the first handful of races, and I suspect that we're just going to consistently see him have speed at all these racetracks. Let's see where he lands here in Kentucky.
Yeah, I mean, Balder's been one of the drivers that's kind of been so interesting to watch. He's either won or he's wrecked out. Those are the only 2 things that he's done this season. Of the 4 races, he's wrecked out twice and has also won twice this season. So for this 6, going to be someone to watch out for. And with these wins that he's had, he's been very quick on track. He's got plenty of pole positions. A rookie this season. I think that's what's one of the most surprising things, is that Daniel Balder's been a rookie and has been on top of the board. And one of our top drivers to always watch out for, but also aggression is always something that I've had lingering over the 6.
Yeah.
We'll see if he's going to be aggressive once again. He's coming out of turn 4 for his last time here at Kansas, Kentucky for his time, and looking like not going to be able to best it. Going to be in the middle of the field for the 6. Kind of surprising here, Kevin.
Yeah, I have to agree with you. Kind of surprising. I mean, Daniel's led the most laps on the season with 76 in the record books, and you know, he's got 2 top 5s and 4 starts, and yeah, I guess we'll have to see what it looks like for him to run out as Jacob Klinkhardt in the number 5, now taking time. So far, Ted Wade has set the benchmark with a 30.787. Outside of him, Keith Haney, the newcomer in the 78. We'll be talking about him, 30.823, and now we'll look and see what Klinkhardt can do. It's the fastest lap, 31.061 for lap number 1. And it looks like every one of these drivers going to run 2 laps. We'll see where he clocks in here. A little bit slower, and thus far, maybe 1 or 2 drivers, the second lap was faster, but Klinkhardt, where's that going to slot him in? Somewhere down there in about 16th, 17th so far.
Currently 17th is going to be for that of Klinkhardt. Here comes now that of Keith Bradley in the 29, changing up the scheme here tonight, but certainly a driver that has had some speed, but unlucky has been that of Bradley throughout this season. I mean, that's really the only thing I could think of when you think of this season for the 29, is just the luck has not been there and the clutch factor of finishing out these races. But I do want to touch on Ted Wade, who's currently topped the board. He's one driver that has gotten 2 poles this season, trying to get his 3rd that of Blanchard Towing Pole Award. We'll see if the 29 or even some other drivers that haven't gone out there on track can steal away that pole position as Keith Bradley starts lap number 1.
Yeah, I checked in the virtual pit box over there on Discord, and Keith Bradley and Wade were in there, and I was chatting with Keith about it. He told me, hailing from Cincinnati, this track is the closest to him, this in Indy, and he considers this his home track, and just had a big smile that they switched this up and got the run here. So, you know, home court advantage for Bradley. We'll see where that adds up as a 31.039, not a bad time for the first lap, and yeah, we'll have to keep an eye on Keith. You always have that little extra gas in the tank, Sam, when you run at a track that you have some sort of affinity to.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's one of those things where you can just have that feeling of, okay, I'm I know this track. I've seen it many a times. Sometimes I practice just a little bit more when it's a home track. Is coming out turn number 4 and across the line. Going to try to best his time, and looks like will do so with a 30.970. Going to be the best time, but showing that really the speed for a lot of these drivers is those that can really hold the bottom and get close to that yellow line, carry their momentum through the corner. They seem to be the drivers that really have the best time so far. Those that drift here in the middle, like that of Derek Kilgore, going to be a driver to watch out for. But Kilgore's doing a different strategy than most, staying high, trying to build up the momentum on the straightaway to really try to maximize this second lap. But looked back at Ted Wade's qualifying time. His fastest lap was on his first. See if Kilgore can find a little bit more speed. Is higher at entry. Apex not as low as I would like, but this 11 is going to be trying to find all the speed that he can to best his first lap.
Yeah, different strategy for Derek. He's just letting the car eat, or the truck eat all the way around. He's up in through the middle groove, trying to carry that speed through the corner, not scrub it off. We'll see if that pays off for lap number 2, as he looks like he has a pretty decent time, but it's going to be 31 and change, and it's not going to work out for him. You got to wonder about that strip through both of those corners, whether the traction is there. A lot of drivers trying to straddle that dark mark.
Yeah, it was a very odd placement, but for that of Derek Kilgore, he tried his best to do so, but not able to. We're going to step aside real quick. When we come back, we'll be gridding up here tonight for Kentucky at the A's Lawn Landscaping 200.
With the Butt Kicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. Butt Kicker. The future is feeling.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Again, this is NASRA Triple M Pulling Truck Series, race number 5 here at Kentucky for the A's Lawn and Landscaping 200. Got to see Butt Kicker's ad there. Butt Kicker, the sponsor of Victory Lane at the end of the race, and we'll take a look at Butt Kicker potentially later on. But for us to get to Victory Lane, we first got a race here tonight. And Kevin, these drivers have 135 laps to go as the drivers are gridding up. What are some of your final thoughts? I mean, before we get going. As we are going to take a look here at the grid, it's going to be on top of the board, taking your Blanchard Towing Pull Award. It's going to be that of Ted Wade in the 2 with Keith Haney. Going to be taking on the outside for the 78. Row number 2, we find that of Brady LaBeouf, winner from last week, as well as Adam Newbert in the 4. Newbert's going to be looking for a victory soon here with Jose Luis Rivera in the 97 to the inside for row 3, and that of Adam Cantwell in the 63 to his outside. Row 4 finds that of Stephen Thomas in the 23 and Robert Richards in the 48. Finishing out this row. Row number 5 going to find Joey Doucette in the 16, with that in the 13 of Michael McKinnon going to be finishing out row number 5. Over to you, Kevin.
Row 6, you're going to have Chris Cinnamon in the 3 on the inside. Jason Morales starts to his right. Row number 7, Justin Lincoln in the 87 with Stephen Gregor's fast time in practice. He starts in the 14th position. Row 8, Keith Bradley in the number 29, Justin Pitts in the 27 to his outside, 16th starting spot. Row 9, inside Ed Osborne in the 42, and it's Taylor Peacock in the number 81, starting 18th. Row 10, Matt Bunner in the 33, and in 20th starting spot it'll be Kyle Hess in the 86.
Then it's going to be the 93 of Raul Meza, as well as current points leader, the 6 of Daniel Butler, going to be finishing out that row, and then also we're going to be finishing out with that of Jeffrey Sickles. Also, Jacob Klinghardt going to be finishing out row number 12. Row 13 is going to be the 44 of Logan Quinn, with that of Dan Hagen going to be in the 39. Row 14, we're going to be finding that of Dana Shepard as well as Cody Knott in that Pulse Poppers 26 machine. Row 15 finds that of James Morris as well as Zach Hartwick in the 88. Row 16 going to be finding that of Devin Painter, and Devin Painter's going to be trying to climb his way through with that of Stephen Williams in the 24. Row 17 is going to be finding us with that of Derek Kilgore as well as Eric Zimmerman. And finishing out these last couple of rows is going to be Hunter Parsons as well as that of Brian Abbott, as well as going to be last on the grid. It's going to be Curtis Hayden going to be finishing out. All the drivers showing up here tonight. 37 came out to race here. It's going to be Ted Wade, Keith Haney, your front row pace trucks pulling off. It's time for us to go Kentucky racing at this 1.5-mile course as we get ready to go green flag racing for the A's Lawn and Landscaping 200. We are pacing. And now we're going to be green as they waited until the very end to really want to take off. They had such a while to go, but waited until the very last moment crossing the line before they wanted to take off there, Kevin.
Yeah, Wade is going to jump out here to an early lead out of the turn 2 for the first time to the backstretch. A little disorganized there for all the trucks getting up, getting into position and getting things going. And we have a truck sideways on the backstretch. We go to yellow. It looks like the 11 around. We'll go into yellow right away.
Didn't even get through lap number 1. I guess they really wanted to try that restart one more time, as it's going to be the 11 Kilgore. Going to be the driver spun around there. Let's take an instant replay with Pulse Poppers. Instant replay of what brought out this yellow. And Kevin coming out of the corner into the back stretch. Looks like might have gotten a little. We'll see what happens here, but just looks like they thought they were clear. We're not. Came up and made contact.
Yeah, pretty hard contact with the right front there, and I'm not sure if just couldn't tell whether he got up and got into that outside truck or the truck lost traction. Hard to say there, but not the way. It's so frustrating to run practice and run all those laps and then come out here and have an issue on that first lap. But as you look at the overhead view, yeah, just a little contact, maybe a little neck code, but that's a difficult start to a race.
Yeah, and that's going to be Steve Williams. It's going to be that 24 that makes contact with Kilgore. Both those drivers going to be spun around. Most of the damage going to be going to that of the 11. You can see the 24, not too heavily damaged, but it's going to be that front end. It's going to be the more thing to worry about. But early yellow coming out, going to be resetting for these drivers. And some of them were wondering over the radio, hey, is it too early to come in and possibly try to take tires? Because they really didn't have a chance to even warm up the tires. They only got through one corner, got to the backstretch, and then immediately had to slow down. But it's going to be seeing that of Brady LaBeouf, Keith Haney, but Ted Wade might be having more internet issues as he's blinking once more. And this was the same exact scenario last week where the two then got disconnected, was gone for 7 laps, and never really truly could recover. This is going to be a big issue, especially, Kevin, because Ted Wade's one of those drivers that we've seen qualify well, but these misfortunes have cost him these last couple of weeks.
Yeah, it's got to be ultimately frustrating for him to have a fast truck, be competitive, be up front, and then have connections issues, be the bane of his existence. And, I'm glad to see he came back, and let's just hope that he can remain stable. You feel so helpless when you're riding along and the rest of the field disappears. That's the experience a lot of times for the driver as you're riding and the entire field disappears and you're on the track all by yourself, and then things just shut off for you.
We're hoping that, again, looking smooth for now. We hope that this continues on. But we note on this, during qualifying and the fact that 78 of Keith Haney, one of the newest drivers to come in last week and really was very consistent, slowly marched his way forward, kind of stayed around that top 10 for most of this race, up to 3rd starting out here tonight, qualified 2nd. Gotta say, Kevin, this is a great start for the 78 team that's gonna need some really good finishes to make sure that they're in points-wise, especially with missing the first couple of races.
Yeah, certainly every one of these drivers knows one thing: win and you're in, and that is the goal, and the best way to do that is to be up front and contend for that win. So Haney's in a good position for that, and I'm looking to the call you made earlier. Newbert in that 4 has just been fast and hasn't been able to get up into the podium spot, but that truck has been up where we see it in the top 5 almost every race. And As the season goes on, I have to wonder if he's going to have the chance. You know, winner in the series before, and I suspect somewhere along the way he's going to get another one here in this 4th season.
Yeah, Newbert has finished in the top 5 3 times of the 4 races that he's ran so far. The one race that he didn't was at Watkins Glen. Had a poor qualifying, then was moving forward, and then had a terrible collision that took himself out late in the race. So right now the Ford has been a driver to watch out for up front at the end of the races. We'll see if he's going to be a contender to get a win. A pace truck is off. We know the delay is going to be a little bit longer when they want to take off, or will it? Ted Wade's already on the loud pedal. They're taking off now. And there goes the 2 already with over that of a 5-car length lead over the next driver in second.
Yeah, shot out of a cannon. Wade took off, and he's got about 12 car lengths, truck lengths out over the number 9 of LaBeouf. LaBeouf tucked in to single file. He's got right behind him Haney and Newbert looking low on Haney. They're side by side on the entry to the corner. Newbert straddling that black hatch down there, trying to find speed and grip as he charges up off the corner, still side by side. Now he's going to tuck in to the tailgate, and they'll single file out here through that top 8 or 9.
And right now going to be single filed out. As you can see, that is Stephen Thomas going to be lingering in the gray, blue, orange machine behind Newbert. 23 has been a driver that's finished up in the top 10 quite a few times as well. Jose Luis Rivera in the 97. What a run for himself currently in that 6th position. Great early starts for these drivers now, but this is kind of where we see Kentucky, Kevin, where up front they get single filed out pretty quick. It's more so around that 10th and 11th position. From there on back, it's going to be a lot of side-by-side racing until we get about 15 to 20 laps into the run as we're riding on the back bumper of the 4 of Adam Newbert.
Newbert able to open up some space, and when you look up into the rearview mirror and you see a big gap, and you just focus out the front windshield, try to hit your marks. And as we said in the opening, this is a type of racetrack where the driver really does make a difference. You have to find the speed in the corner, try not to scrub the right front tire and wear that down, find the speed off the exit of the corner. It's really about execution at this racetrack to find pace and be able to gain on the truck in front of you.
Yeah, and something that you guys can take away from this is Newbert did go onto the apron, which is legal to do on the front stretch. You can go down there. I'd recommend not touching the grass, but for the 4 making the pass now, going to be moving up to 3rd position as our front 2 pulled away. The battling for 3rd is still on. I gotta say, for that of Haney, he seems like he wants to get this position back. But major credit to Brady LaBeouf. He was over that of a half a second or more back from our leader. He's starting to really close in on that of Ted Wade, as we you can see that on the ticker now, within 0.3 of our leader. But the 9 is there. He's just closing in ever so slightly every lap here, Kevin. I think right now, it seems like Ted Wade, he got that major lead. Now saving his tires for whenever LaBeouf seems to be too close.
Yeah, I had a chance to talk to Wade and asked him point blank, were you going to use that apron in the race? And they all said to me, when you need to find speed, you're going to go down there on the apron. We saw in qualifying that on the front stretch, they went down there. But one of the things to know about that is it's quite a different transition. It's not smooth. When you drop off there, it does unsettle the truck. And the other thing is, farther down that apron, just past the start-finish line, there's that notorious drain at this racetrack. But if you stay down there too long, it really bounces the truck through it, and it wrecks the entry to turn number 1. So some drivers will go down there, try to find that speed, and mess themselves up. And I'll tell you, LaBeouf, he goes down and just drops those left side wheels underneath the yellow line, where we see our later Wade is not doing that lap after lap. So you have to wonder if that's where LaBeouf is maybe making a little bit of speed. Hard to say here, as yeah, both of them straddling the yellow line there right at the exit. And you know, I say this one other thing, Sam. Do you see how they drive up and over to the right side, trying to enter the arc for going into turn number 1?
Yeah, they just keep on trying to find that sweeping space so that they can come down with a clean entry into the corner, and you can kind of tell a little bit of difference. LaBeouf lies slightly higher, trying to find some more clean air for that 9 machine, but these last 2 laps practically been identical, but back here battling for that 5th position. Gotta say, for that Jose Luis Rivera, he has been pressuring, and now going to be 2 wide, 2 rows deep, but here comes the 16. Joey Doucette now getting into the mix. Really starting to see some of those drivers that were saving their tires. They're now starting to make that surge forward for that better long runs pace.
If you go from Newbert to 3rd all the way back to about 10th position, there's a gaggle of trucks, and everybody's just looking to see what they could do. In this pack, you're going to get a little bit of a draft, and if you get a run, there's enough of a racetrack here that you can run high, you can run low, and take advantage of it. We're going to see him charge underneath another truck. I was just watching Robert Richards there, right in the back of that shot dive underneath the number 3 of Chris Cinnamon. And yeah, you could just see all these drivers trying to get whatever they can to carry the speed. They find this Cinnamon way up high over there in 3 and 4.
Cinnamon is certainly having himself a little bit of a handle there. Thought we were also going to see 3 wide in front of the 3, but we're seeing the orange crew. I gotta say, these orange machines, they have been really showing a lot of speed. That of Haney, as well as Joey Doucette, and also Richards. They were one of the clusters of drivers that really marched their way through last week at Auto Club. We'll see if they can continue on. That is behind, making some daring passes to the inside. Watch out, that's going to be Stephen Gregory in that 61 machine. Diving it low, almost going 3 wide, and now a little bit of ink and blinking in front of him. 13 of that of Michael McKinnon, who's been having some connection issues here tonight. Going to be on the same scale as Ted Wade of watch out. They don't want to see themselves disconnect.
You just saw the 61 go through that bump I was talking about. You could see the truck porpoising over there as he came through the well, boy, that is really a challenge over there. And you're right, he's seeing that link in front of him, which has got to be disconcerting. Up front, the top 2 have driven away, but this fight from about 3rd to 9th just continues to be amazing.
Yeah, it's crazy to see, but it's more so, I think, of the fact that we're seeing the different styles of how drivers really want to attack. As right now, seeing the 16, he's now made his pass by the 4 and the 23. Biggest mover of the drivers that are in the top 10 currently is Joey Doucette, up 5 positions from where he qualified back in 9th. But Thomas, as well as Newbert, a little bit of a swap there. The 4 was making a charge forward and was up to 3rd at one moment, but Adam Newbert is now finding himself trapped on the outside. Kevin, I mean, with these drivers really attacking and a little bit more side-by-side racing going on, which lane do you feel like is going to be using up more tires as the run goes on?
Yeah, when you're down underneath trying to hold the truck and you're pinching it, you're turning the wheel a little bit more, and then that wheel turns sideways while trying to go straight. It's just going to scrub that right front tire. For the driver trying to save the outside lane is your friend, but Stephen Thomas is just making a huge run trying to get what he can down there on the bottom. Some of these drivers, they figure if they can get the pass, it's worth a little bit of cost it makes on that right front tire.
And honestly, we're seeing the drivers feeling a little bit more comfortable on the inside, and they're going to continue on a little bit further back. The driver did get into the wall. You see there, slow is the 29 of Keith Bradley, who got contact between himself and Taylor Peacock. Peacock immediately over the radio saying, "I'm sorry, didn't mean to make contact," but there is some hard damage on that right side of the 29. They'll try to work with it moving forward, but this is going to be our best shot of seeing the scrub marks coming across the line.
Yeah, and one of the things we'll watch as tire wear comes up, these drivers trying to carry as much speed as they can up out of the corner, and the truck just won't turn. It slides the nose all the way through, and they leave those black scrub marks on the McFlurry green wall here at Kentucky, and you just, you know, pray sometimes when the truck is heading out there that it eventually catches and turns right or turns left.
And right now, back here, biggest mover in 25th position. That's going to be Hunter Parsons, one of the drivers that did not qualify. And he's going to be one of our biggest movers so far. Started in 35th position, now up to 10, 0-5. On the move, but honestly going to be 11 this stage break on lap 30. It's going to be the best time for Hunter Parsons to get some tires potentially and get back out there on track and gain some more positions. As right now, Hunter Parsons running pretty similar times to those that are up in the top 10. So we wouldn't be surprised if we start to see Parsons moving up, and speaking of the top 10, there's some drivers right outside of it. Chris Cinnamon, who has been on the outside, practically against that mint wall for most of this time, continues to just stay up there. And gotta say, Kevin, Chris Cinnamon, he's not really gaining or losing time, but he certainly is searching for any type of speed.
And kudos to Chris, looking for grip. He goes up there. It's not going to wear the tires so much. Maybe he tries that Kyle Larson line and he finds a little something up there. I wanted to call out somebody who we've seen in the top 10 just about every race and has not made any headway is Painter. We thought Painter would charge through this field. He's just still kind of mired back there in the 20s.
Yeah, Devin Painter going to be back here. He certainly is trying his best to move forward in 27th position, up 4 spots for himself, doing his best job to move forward. And also, watching Painter move forward. There's a couple of drivers that started out this race with an EOL penalty, had to start at the back of the line. That of our pole sitter, but our points leader, that of Daniel Belder, going to be given an EOL at the start of this race, and Hunter Parsons. So both of them have been doing their best to carve their way moving forward. And with that of Devin Painter, he's just been kind of finding his own pace, and right now running very similar lap times of those that are in the top 20. So Devin Painter does have time to make some moves going forward. As we watch the battling currently going on for 6th place, is the 48 able to move up another spot for that of Robert Richards, but Adam Newbert continues to falter back, is now that of Gregory on the outside for the 61, trying to make the move, but not able to put the nose at the quarter panel of the 4.
Wade comes across the line, and we know in this stage race they only have to make it to the stage end, so they're going to use whatever tires they can. And Ted Wade, one lap he runs faster. The next lap, the 2nd place truck of Brady LaBeouf runs faster, but the gap between the top 2 has remained relatively static. As looks like a lot of these drivers tire worn. When the tires are worn, it makes it harder to challenge for those passes.
Yeah, you don't have that grip that you used to really dive bomb against one another. As again, lap 30 is going to be for these drivers. That stage 1 will be coming to a conclusion here as Peacock brushing the grass just a little bit, almost a little bit of a door bang. This 81 made contact with that of Keith Bradley earlier, just a couple of laps ago. Now making contact with the 91. You can just tell Peacock is on the move, and he's not willing to stop for anyone because he is trying and currently is in that 10th place position, the last spot to get those bonus points at the end of the stage.
Yeah, that was one of those movie theater shuffles. Excuse me, pardon me, coming through. Beg your pardon. I am going to put my elbow out and shove you aside as Jose Luis Rivera fades back a little bit. Cinnamon right there in that mix. Cinnamon took a little peek there down the low line. He's running right along that yellow line over there in turn 1 and 2. It's a good run up to the back bumper of McKinnon. Can he do something with it on the backstretch? Just not enough down that backstretch to get that run.
Yeah, that's all about trying to get back into the throttle the best that they can. And right now, Michael McKinnon's going to be trying to do his best to try to steal away this 10th place position. Everyone else seems to be pretty spread out from one another. The next closest battle ahead of them is going to be for 4th place currently, as Adam Newbert and Gregory are battling. But this is for that final 1 point. And Kevin, 1 point could be the difference between you making it into the playoffs and not making it into the playoffs. Again, the top 16 get to race for the playoffs action. So it is important to make sure you get every point. If you do not get that win and you're in, so there's only 14 races to do that. And right now, we are on lap 30. This is it. Final lap of stage number 1, sponsored by that of Sim Racer Hub. Currently, Ted Wade is taking that position as we continue to watch for this 10th place spot on who's going to get that final 1 point, as Ted Wade is getting ready to come across the line as he enters turn number 3.
Yeah, again, you continue to have this gaggle of truck back there for that 10th position, and you see Justin Lumpkin has made his way up in there to the 9th spot, and yellow is out. And Wade, well, your objective, win practice. Your objective, win qualifying. Your objective, win the first stage. And Wade's got a pretty good report card right now. That number 2 truck is very fast tonight here in Kentucky.
was extremely quick, and now we're going to be seeing how Ted Wade can try to march his way moving forward as he's going to take the win here at stage number 1. Again, stage 1 and stage 2 sponsored by Sim Racer Hub. You're trying to get to one of the best places to really store all of your information, stats on race results, standings, and also just even more in-depth stats of your averages of finishes, starts, pole positions. You certainly can get them. And for us, we're going to be taking ourselves into pit road and see where the drivers are going to be coming out. And right now, Ted Wade going to be starting off with seeing how well he can get out of pit road. As really, Kevin, this is a spot where drivers can either gain or lose time on pit road if you find yourself sliding through your box.
Yeah, and certainly we expect 4 tires and fuel for every truck here. Some of the drivers peel off and go and hit their signs. A good run for Wade. He dropped right in. So did the 78 of Keith Haney. Everyone I'm pretty sure is going to take 4 tires and fuel here. Maybe on a late run you might try 2 tires, but pretty sure that it's going to be 4 tires and fuel, and that's what we saw for pretty much everybody in that shot.
And out of pit road, it's going to be that of Ted Wade, Brady LaBeouf, Keith Haney, Stephen Thomas, and Joey Doucette. Going to be your top 5 coming out of pit road. As we're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, we get ready to go green for stage number 2.
An automobile purchase shouldn't be hard. The hardest part for the consumer in the whole process should be selecting the vehicle. We have the online credit application. We can bring the car to you to see it, to test drive it, to deliver it. We have all the tools in place, and we've had them in place for a long time. I just think now we've perfected it. It's become part of our culture. We've, kind of taken it to the next level. It is easy, and it should be easy, and it should be fun, and it shouldn't take a whole lot of time.
This is our series,
So many different pieces that you have to watch out for.
where the stakes are always higher,
$300,000.
where virtual meets reality,
How bad do you want it? They're wasting no time getting at it.
where the best thrive and the flawless win. This is the NASRA Coca-Cola iRacing Series.
With the Butt Kicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. Butt Kicker. The future is feeling.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It's NASRA's Triple M Pulling Truck Series, race number 5 here at Kentucky for the A's Lawn and Landscaping 200. As the drivers are stacked up and ready to go, it's Ted Wade, Brady LaBeouf, out of Keith Haney, Stephen Thomas, and Joey Doucette going to be your top 5 getting ready to go racing. A few drivers had incidents under pit road. The 88 of Zach Hartwig missed his pit box at an extended time. Keith Bradley as well extended time in the pit road. The 95 of Curtis Hedden going to be out of this race. A little bit of wheel spin there from Keith Bradley, going to be shuffling up, but we are green for stage number 2. Stage 2, once again, sponsored by that Sim Racer Hub. And there they go, racing side by side into turn number 1. My name is Sam Dyer. With me is Kevin England. And Kevin, they're side by side for battling for second, but it's going to be that of Kevin Haney who's going to be coming out of it with the lead in second place.
Yeah, we saw Wade take off there, a little bit of tire spin, then the truck hooked off and it launched, and everybody else behind him stomped on the gas and spun the tires. They got all backed up, and it was Haney who got the best advantage of getting that truck back under control. And the up front Chevrolet, number 78, running second right now. And LaBeouf, who is running in that second position for that whole stint, he's dropped back to 4th.
And watching the driver shuffling up front, you might have saw a little bit of a glimpse of it. Adam Cantwell was shoved into the grass. We stay green. The 63 is back on course, but losing over 20 positions for the 63 machine as we continue to watch the battling for 10th place. And right now, this is going to be a lot of the battling that we're going to be seeing a lot of, because this stage is going to be a little bit shorter, going to be only about 25 laps instead of 30 because of the pacing laps that we had. But again, these drivers racing to lap 60. That is going to be the end of stage number 2 for these drivers. Top 10 get bonus points. And right now, it is that of Ted Wade over 7/10 ahead of that of Keith Haney, with Richards and LaBeouf going to be your top 4, with Stephen Thomas holding strong. But Kevin, kind of similar to what we saw before, some drivers wanting to get up front, others lingering behind, as we ride on board with the 16 of Joey Doucette.
Yeah, we say it all the time. These drivers have a notebook, and they make notes as to how the truck performed in the first run, whether it went out too hard, whether they ran the tires too hard. Here they get a reset button, so to speak, and get to change it up a little bit. So we'll see if somebody like Robert Richards, who's sitting there in 3rd position, make a lot of noise in that first stint, but has one stint under his belt. And, you know, you look at someone like LaBeouf, who's dropped back to 4th. Did he learn something, or did everybody else catch him? It's hard to say how this is going to play out as the laps tick on.
Most of the drivers up front staying single file. Side-by-side racing is going to be back battling for that 9th place position. Taylor Peacock and Newbert going to be those drivers side-by-side. But watching that Stephen Gregory in the 61, really a driver that's been pressuring forward. Same for that is 16 Joe Doucette. Doucette ran very well at the 1 other mile-and-a-half racetrack that we ran at. That at Atlanta, kind of different with the banking situation and the older service at Atlanta. But I mean, there are some notes that you can take away as we watch these drivers right on top of one another. The 61 keep the pressure on Joey Doucette on the backstretch.
Yeah, and that takes a lot of trust to come up there right against that back bumper and not worry the driver in front. When you got someone on your back bumper, you know they're shoving you, you just look out the window. You're kind of sitting in the seat doing that thing where you're leaning forward, trying to make the car go faster. As I see, you know, Gregory, he's been on the charge all night tonight. I think he feels pretty comfortable with this racetrack and feels like he's got a fast truck. He's been elbows up all night long in that Tundra.
Yeah, Stephen Gregory started in 8th. Started back in 14th, moved up 7 positions. He's on the move. Then you also got that Stephen Thomas started back in 7th, up 1 position. And then Joey Doucette started back in 9th, up 4. These 3 drivers in 5th, 6th, and 7th put on the best show of those in the top 10 currently. And it's making it interesting on how they want to attack. But there seems to be, you know, small little moments of that for the 23 of that of Thomas. Thought he was going to be clear just to come down with Joey Doucette, then saw the 61, kind of spooked him on the entry of turn 1. As Thomas now tries to recenter, start attacking, moving forward as the 61. Stephen Gregory doing his best to try to move forward, but I think a lot of the mind games now, Kevin, I mean, you've kind of gained a sense of what the racing is going to be like here tonight. A lot of single file racing in the first about 10 to 15 laps, and then the drivers that have saved and been patient with their tires start to make the charge forward. But it's the drivers further back that are really putting on the best show possible. Again, it's around that 10th, 11th position. It is all on as there goes that of the 13. A little bit of a bump to Newbert as the 4 gets the scrub mark coming out of turn number 4.
Yeah, that was another one of those, pardon me, excuse me, I'm coming through, but I think a lot of these drivers understand there's an objective here. They've got to get through this stage with as much track position as they can, because if we get past this stage and then the rest of the race runs green, you're going to have that long run where you're going to have to drive through the field, and being out in the back, you're just not going to be able to do it. So track position is paramount at this point. And nobody's done it better than that 05 of Parsons. He's come from deep in the back to about the 5th position. He's somewhere right in the mix of these trucks, and you could just see how on top of each other everybody is right now.
Seeing the 88 Pepsi machine, that's going to be that is Zach Hartwick, who's a lap down, currently 2 laps down, falling back. But yeah, leading this group is that 05 Hunter Parsons. Then behind him, you see this side-by-side battle between that of Luis Rivera as well as Newbert. But Hunter Parsons been making the moves, going forward for the 05, had an EOL at the start of the race, and now has climbed his way up into the top 10, showing that that stage break was so useful. And now, once we get our next stage break, again at lap 60 is when stage 2 comes to a conclusion. I'm expecting Hunter Parsons to be a driver hunting and hounding our top 7 as we continue to watch and see that Thomas and Joey Doucette, they battle once again.
Yeah, these two have been running nose to tail tight, and I think what Thomas was doing was just sizing him up, trying to figure out where the best time to make that run. And as soon as he pulled out, it kind of stalled the trucks, and, well, Gregory's going to try and take advantage of getting 2-for-1 sale. He gets it off of turn number 2, charges up high. He's going to sweep out, take that position. I think Thomas looked at that and said, darn it, that did not go as planned.
Not at all, and I think for the driver back in 8th place, watching all that happen, the 87 and Justin Lumpkin going to be the driver that thought about following the 61 for a second there, but thought better of it. And just going to let these 3 drivers that have been playing a little bit of do-si-do on who's going to be in what position continue to play their little mind games, but at some point, they got to be careful because we've seen it. Drivers can get so close as Doucette right on the back bumper of Gregory, almost putting a little bit of too much of a bumper in it. That costly move of getting on the throttle too soon, almost threw the 16 up in the outside wall. Got to be careful of not trying to throw away their race this early on. Yes, we're less than 100 laps to go, but we still have the end of stage 2 and also the rest of the race to go. So do not throw away your race this early on with no fast repairs in pit road.
Yeah, Thomas remains on the attack, and he finally got underneath the 16, was able to leverage that to get the pass. Contact with the outside wall for Kyle Hess. We saw a little shot there as boy, they're trying to get everything they can out of this racetrack.
Kyle Hess going to be still stuck on the outside and going to be pressured by the 5 machine on the inside. That's going to be Jacob Klinkhardt. Hess 16th, still falling back. But that outside wall has claimed a couple of drivers to see the damage. Just scrub marks and scraping off that paint, and that also is going to be denting in that body, who's going to be, for a track like Kentucky, the draft and the aero help on the straightaway is going to be something that you do not want to be messing up with these trucks. Currently, 86 has a lot of work to do now. Going to be back in 17th, losing ground to that of Justin Pitts and also Jacob Klinkhardt.
Yeah, and he's going to go to pit road, and they're going to have to fix that truck, and he's going to lose all that track position, which is the antithesis of what we were talking about, right? In these 2 stages, you want to get as far forward as you can for that final run, and that's going to spell trouble for Hess. And, if you're wondering what's going out front, well, it's the same thing. There's really not much to show. Wade's been out front in that clean air and set sail and just held probably about a 20 truck length lead over the 2nd position, and that truck is just on rails tonight. He's got a good mount underneath him in that number 2.
He's figured out the restarts, and he's going to have to do at least one more time at the end of stage 2 going into stage 3. That's where we're going to be seeing if the 2 can build up another massive lead for himself, as we now watch the battling for 2nd place. That of Robert Richards in the 48 machine, going to be trying a different lane again, trying to stay out of the wind wake, out of coming off of the 78, not trying to have that dirty air on the entry of these corners, trying to allow the 48 to have a little bit more speed to carry on, don't feel that tightness as much. Here comes that of 78 of Haney, and also seeing Richards still battling for 2nd, and they're trying their best to gain up on Ted Wade, as well as other battles that are happening on track. For 7th place, you see here side by side Joe Doucette in the 16 on the outside, 87 of that of Justin Lumpkin on the inside. Lumpkin, who's been patient, now going to be pressuring and a little bit of a jump up, and luckily didn't make contact, but that was a close one there, Kevin.
Yeah, drivers have to be really careful here in executing the pass. The truck on the outside trying to turn.
Oh no, Rack, there was the 6er points leader off of the nose, and you just saw it there live, and it's the big one hitting on the entry of turn 1, and I threw it out there during qualifying. The 6 is either winning or wrecking, and it's going to be another wreck here tonight, as here's our Pull Poppers instant replay, and we were coming so close to the end of the stage. Michael McKinnon, Adam Elder going to be side by side, and just, I mean, you noted on it there, Kevin, during qualifying, a little bit during the first stage, how Alban Hess gets involved as well. But the front stretch, it is not straight. It's banked, and that means that when you're 3 wide, especially this close, just trying to turn and make sure that you're not, drifting in as we take an aerial view of this incident. You're going to see the 6 trying to stay low, but both drivers trying to get a better entry into turn number 1.
Yeah, the 6 wants to come off the apron, assumes everybody else is moving up to go up, and just not enough room. And man, a couple big hits there for some drivers, and this is going to reset the field behind the number 2 of Wade, but the next IOG number 6 is going to be down there for quite an extensive service. This pit road is going to get busy. Everybody coming in to change tires.
Yeah, everyone's coming in and either going to just top up with fuel, take tires. I mean, this is so close to the end of stage number 2. Expecting some, I wouldn't be surprised we see some drivers in the middle to further back of the field maybe stay out, but maybe a 2-tire pit stop here. All these drivers are given 4 sets of tires to work with, so this could be the pit stop that takes it. But some drivers that decided to come into pit road before this pack did, I do want to give note, Derek Kilgore, Stephen Williams, Jose Luis Rivera, Kyle Hess, and that of the 6 of Daniel Belder, all involved in that last incident or in other incidences, are in pit road for extended stay. As out of pit road, going to be the 2, once again, Ted Wade taking the lead, and with that of Keith Haney, going to be taking second. Richards, LaBeouf, that of Stephen Gregory, Stephen Thomas, Joey Doucette, Taylor Peacock, Hunter Parsons, and that of Justin Lumpkin, going to be your top 10. Lumpkin, biggest loser of coming out of pit road, losing a couple of positions for that 87.
Yeah, and the mystery for Ted Wade, he took 4 tires, and given that he came out front, you have to believe that everybody else did too. And, you know, you have the sets of tires in there, and you know how valuable it is to be able to cut the corner and turn with all that traction. You almost have to, if you go to pit road, take 4 tires here at Kentucky.
Do you want to give official, the 6 of out of Daniel Belder has officially called it a night. Came into pit road and has left. He is done, still in pit road, getting service done. Going to be that of Stephen Williams, Jose Luis Rivera, and Kyle Hess. I think for the 97, biggest shocker was running up in the top 10, fell back to that battling that was for 10th, 11th, and 13th, and that gaggle of cars got some damage. And the 97 is in pit road, getting extended stay. Is up front. Again, it's still Ted Wade, Haney Richards, LaBeouf, and Stephen Gregory going to be your top 5. But this is now going to be putting these drivers into a shootout, I believe. We're going to be seeing about a 4-lap shootout to figure out who's going to be in the top 10, get those stage points, because lap 60 is still not here. And Kevin, that means that this is going to feel more like a little bit of an overtime attempt to see who's going to have the best positioning going into the end of stage 2.
Yeah, for Ted Wade, he just needs to change up his start and get a good start. If he can get out there and launch, he'll be able to secure that position. But really, the fight's going to be for about 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th. That should be just a train wreck back there. I hate to use the term, but I'm pretty scared to see what's going to happen here. Everybody's going to be on kill here because they know in just a couple laps there's points on the line.
Another driver that officially was in pit road, but now going to be out of this thing is Kyle Hess, who is officially left and is done. And God, it's one of those big wrecks that you would hope that maybe wouldn't hit until later on. But for some drivers, I mean, Kevin, we've already know the 6 is locked in, so he's feeling comfortable already. Just got to be frustrating to know that you're either winning or getting wrecked out. Luckily, you knew you're getting wrecked out sooner than later here tonight.
Yeah, when that was happening, I was describing a dynamic where when your tires are worn, you let the truck slide, and the vehicle behind you, if they're trying to execute the pass, is going to be right on your tailgate. And as your truck slides up, you might try to turn left to turn underneath them. And as the truck in front is sliding up and scrubs off a little speed, they slow down and they come together. And that's not exactly the case of what happened there, but there's a lot of interesting dynamics of trucks moving left and right when they're in close contact in each other. And, you know, I think for the 6, he was just trying to come off. I don't believe he went through those bumps that we talked about. I think he was just trying to get up to arc the truck in. And one of the things that the drivers will do here, when you move up tight to that wall on the front straight, quote unquote, and you turn it down, it makes the truck roll over, and it changes whether the truck is driving on the right front or the right rear. And a lot of the drivers want to go up and then turn in and sweep the truck so the truck slides over and puts the weight on the right side, and it helps kind of plant that right front and turn. So, you could say, well, why didn't the 6 just stay down there? They really want to get up and get that corner turned, as dynamics, physics.
And both just were too close and made contact, bringing out one of our bigger wrecks. And you can see Ted Wade's on the lap pedal immediately. He sees the restart zone and says, I'm off. Guys better figure out what I'm doing already. It's going to be 3 laps to go here tonight for stage number 2. And then we get to race it to the end. But it's all Ted Wade moving on. And it's the chaos of who's going to be in the top 10 that we're going to be watching out. As right now, this is the battle for second place. Haney, Richards, battling into turn number 3. Will the 48 try to go down low? They got fresh tires. Here comes Stephen Gregory with a little bit of a run through the center of 3 and 4.
Yeah, surprisingly, they single filed out all the way back there to about 10th position. The question now is anybody going to get the draft to try and get a run and pick up a position? You see Justin Pitts back there in the number 27 running 11th. He's trying to hunt down Justin Lumpkin, the Justin and Justin show, but out front, Wade is in control, and right now it doesn't look like he's going to be challenged as we run to the end of this stage break.
No, I mean, he got such a massive lead that now he can just back off, save his tires where everyone else is really using them up and trying to catch up to the 2, to the outside, watching the 9. Lady Brady LaBeouf, who won last week, going to be trying to get himself back up front, possibly challenging again for 4th place. And then also for 2nd place, a little bit of side-by-side going on. As you see that, if Haney still holding off Richards, but single filing out out of turn number 2, as this is the white flag of of stage number 2, sponsored by That Sim Racer Hub. And out of turn number 4, Ted Wade gonna be sweeping both stage 1 and 2 and coming across the line. It's really a question of where and who's gonna be up in the top 10. Is Haney, Richards, Gregory, LaBeouf, Thomas, Doucette. Hunter Parsons might have been able to take it away, but we continue to stay green because of the timing of that yellow. Drivers are just going to keep on racing, it looks like, as it's going to be still Ted Wade up front racing. And Kevin, that was a changing dynamic. It went from just a shootout to, okay, we got to pace ourselves with these tires that we have.
Yeah, we stay green here and wait to see where this goes from an administrative standpoint. But Wade stretching out, looking pretty comfortable. Just been like a robot. If you think about the dynamic we talked about last week and some of the connection problems, getting the points for these stages, that's good medicine for Wade. Ideally, and maybe we'll see him lead every lap here tonight. Have you ever seen that in a sim race?
I mean, it is very possible to lead every single lap, and I've seen it a couple of times happen, and it is usually when the rest of the field thinks they've got to follow the same strategy. But if we're going to be staying green, Ted Wade's got to be building out a big lead, because honestly, we've seen Wade build up these leads because of the restarts, but once we get to pacing and race pace, usually you see 2nd place, 3rd place, they can stay pretty close. As here comes some LaBeouf to the inside, trying to get by Gregory, battling for that 4th place. For the 2 of Ted Wade, he's going to have to find a little bit more speed, I think, if he wants to lead every single lap, because there's going to be some different strategies thrown out, especially when we get to green flag pit stops. And I should say if we get green flag pit stops, because that's going to be a factor that could change this race completely. As still LaBeouf to the inside, going to be going and moving, and Thomas tried his best to make the pass. And now watching the battle going on for 3rd place is Gregory with a large speed out of turn 2. What a launch for himself, and now diving it down low, trying to make the pass for 3rd.
Gregory able to shorten out the racetrack down there on the low line, and got to give a nod to Haney, who's hung tough all night long, still sitting there in that top 3. But I'm looking at the way that Gregory's running. That truck is very fast down there on the bottom.
Yeah, I think that's the big thing that's helped the 61 have the pace to be where he's at. Stephen Gregory qualified in 14th, up 10 positions, one of our bigger movers currently right now. Not the biggest mover, that goes to Hunter Parsons back in 8th, up 27 positions, but Stephen Gregory certainly did. That aggression to just run down low, just keep on pressuring on the drivers ahead. That's what's put the 61 in the top 5 and hoping to get a top 5 finish here tonight at Kentucky.
Leader goes underneath a slow truck. As Gregory kind of reminds me of Kevin Harvick sometimes when he finds those abilities to hit that yellow line and just paint that yellow line all the way around the corner. Most drivers would tell you that's not the fast way around, and it's hard on tires, but Gregory has made it work all night long here tonight.
Yeah, I mean, Gregory's trying to go for one of his best finishes this season. Best finish so far was a 10th place finish at Watkins Glen, but ever since then, it has been finishing outside of the top 25. His next best finish would be at that at Dover, finishing in 26th position. So Stephen Gregory certainly is having a season race, or this is probably his best race of the season, as we look back at Hunter Parsons and Justin Lumpkin battling for 8th place. And Hunter Parsons, again, one of the drivers that started with an EOL penalty at the start of the race, also didn't qualify, so was all the way back in last place. It's moved up to that of up to a 9th place, up 26 positions for himself. 05's got some speed to watch out for, running a little bit faster than even our leader right now, as Lumpkin in front of that of Hunter Parsons, trying to make the move by the 88. And I gotta say, for that of 8th and 9th place currently, they are looking pretty quick, but they've got a lot of time to gain up if they want to catch back to our leaders.
Yeah, the race has taken on a little bit of a conveyor belt feel to it as everybody's kind of stretched in. That doesn't mean any of these trucks that are running nose to tail aren't hunting the position. And, well, I can even look right up front. Robert Richards has caught your leader. He's been 1 to 2 truck lengths behind Wade, trying to get to that pass and see if he's got something, or maybe he's just following in the tire tracks and sizing them up. But, you know, right now, everybody's looking at the scoreboard. They're trying to figure out how many laps and how long these tires are going to last and how their fuel situation is. You know, as the driver, crew chief, and strategists, they're all trying to figure out the best way to get to the finish here and maybe get themselves a win.
Yeah, and this is kind of where Ted Wade's been kind of playing a little bit back and forth with 2nd place. You get within 2 tenths, and then Ted Wade pulls away to 4 tenths. And they come back. They just keep on kind of playing a seesaw, going back and forth on how close they can get to Ted Wade. But Wade's been in complete control so far. And you got to be questioning for the drivers in the middle of the field. How aggressive do they truly want to be putting themselves in? Because up front, it's, like I said, a conveyor belt of drivers just single filing out. But from about 16th back to 28th, they're still racing a little bit of side-by-side. And these are some of the drivers that are trying to make rebounds for themselves. You see Adam Newbert, back here in 17th position, trying to recover from the damage that he has. Got Dana Shepard, who's having a great run, the 44 of Logan Quinn as well. But you see that of Shepard to the outside. There goes Newbert, and behind them, also you find that of Keith Bradley and other drivers that are just trying to come back from poor starts to their races.
Yeah, that Dana Shepard number 43 truck, really sharp-looking ride there. And, you know, I want to give a call to Clinkart. What a great run Clinkart's had here tonight, just steadily making his way forward. And, you know, beyond Gregory and Parsons, who've had a great run, Clinkart running in 13th. He's come up 11 positions and knocking on a top 10.
Yeah, I mean, he's done a great job. Clinkart been moving up. He at one point was up in the top 10, currently a little bit outside in 13th, and watching the battling in front of him as he's got a couple of drivers battling. Still single file out, but for the 5, he's got Pitts and also Peacock keeping it close with one another.
It says Hoot Pie's Garage on the back of that truck. I love that name. And number 5. That's pretty cool.
It's a clean looking 5, and you know who it is, especially with that lime green. You can tell, hey, that's that is going to be Clinkart, where he is on track. That is for sure.
Well, I don't know if Ted Wade just turned up the wick or decided he didn't like how close they got. He could have been conserving a little bit, but, you know, he's going to use more fuel than everybody else by being out front. I don't know if this will be a fuel mileage race, but he certainly isn't demonstrating any want to give up that lead position. And, well, right behind him, Richards has slipped back into the clutches of Haney, and Nick Gregory is just continues to be impressive with speed here tonight, running the bottom.
Yeah, I mean, all these 3 drivers, they were starting to see Haney and Gregory catch up to our leaders, and I kind of note on it, Ted Wade, he gets these massive leads on the restarts. They're going to be taking 3 different lanes, on how they want to approach the exit of turn number 4 there. You see Richards with a great run, keeping it side by sides with Haney, and Richards going to try his best. Going to get a little pinch to the outside wall, but here comes Gregory, really stamping on that yellow line. Nolan Strong coming out of turn number 2, but Richards has to back out of it, close to the outside wall, and here comes the 621 to the inside. As we are over halfway through this race. Right now, it is all Ted Wade with that hard racing we just saw. Becoming Kevin, Ted Wade's gone by over a second, and now here comes another pack of drivers that are joined into the mix for the battle for second.
Yeah, Haney was able to let the truck just sweep out, and unfortunately for Richards being on the outside, he had to run that super high line and ease out of the throttle. That's going to slot him back to the 4th position, and Gregory on in the bottom, just able to take advantage and snuck underneath there, take over that 3rd spot. Lost a little in the exchange, but now he's charging again down the bottom, see if he can drive right up and maybe get himself the 2nd as the laps tick by.
And we are now 22 laps into this run for these drivers on the laps that they put on these tires. And so this is around usually the place at the 1.5 mile courses where we start to see the drivers that have been patient, saving their tires, not turning as much, letting off into the corners more so they're not burning off as much rubber, where they're able to really make these charges going forward. And for Gregory, he's now up to 3rd, doing a great job. But you can tell by Robert Richards in the 48, he is now going to move back to being battled by 5th place. That is really, you're starting to see kind of the flare from him. Biggest surprise has to be Ted Wade still dominating and still trying to continue with the pace that he has right now. As up front, they continue to race on as we're coming up to lap number 80.
Yeah, that 3-truck battle we had a moment ago where everybody got side by side, and then, you know, we've described what the outcome was, brought Brady LaBeouf back into Richards' back bumper. There was a big gap, and when they unsettled the air and Brady was able to run clean laps, he was there, and I saw he was really digging. He's down on the light area on cutting that apron and going through those bumps. It ain't bothering him, man. If he's finding speed down there, he'll scrape the undercarriage of that number 9 to try and get up there.
Yellow flag going to be thrown out. The 47, that of James Morris, going to be bringing out the yellow here. Lap number 80. We're going to see here what is going to happen here on our instant replay. Pulse poppers, and it's getting a little bit of a push, and see the 38 lingering behind, and there's the bump, finishing him off. As Matt Rudder just, you know, you can tell Morris was just driving his own race and did not appreciate getting tossed around like that.
Yeah, only those 2 drivers really know what happened there. It could be that the 47 was trying to slow down to turn in, and the 38 didn't know it. You never know, but clearly when one truck is in front of the other and contact is made, you can usually look for the truck in the back. Now, given the number of laps, I expect the same recipe to be the case. 4 tires and fuel for all these drivers. The question lies, will anyone risk 2 tire change to see if they can get some track position?
I think that I'm expecting most of these drivers to come in and take 4 tires. I mean, they've got still 2 sets as they come into pit road, and they're going to be using another one, leaving them with 1 to utilize for the rest of the race. So we'll see here as everyone comes into pit road. More drivers have called it a night. So Jose Luis Rivera and also Steven Williams have called it a night officially, not going to repair their trucks anymore. As the field all comes in, we'll see who's going to get the best launch out, who's going to take strategy as Ted Wade, Haney, both come in cleanly into their box. Same for LaBeouf. Those right sides go up, but will the left sides go up? We'll see here as that they were expecting them, and there they go. Left side's up. A couple of drivers further back going with just fuel only for some, trying to gain some positions here. And it's going to be Hunter Parsons, biggest mover so far as Ted Wade beats out everyone else.
I would suspect that if we get to like 5 to go and the tires are worn, they would still go in and change 4 tires. Some might try too, so no surprise there to see 4 tires and fuel for pretty much the whole field.
And you see the 05 decided to go with right sides only on that pit stop, and that's why the Hunter Parsons got a major gain over the rest of the field. And as the drivers are stacking up and getting ready to go, they're going to be getting that one to go here shortly. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we go racing once again here at Kentucky.
With the Butt Kicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. Butt Kicker. The future is feeling.
Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, right? Our Ram trucks, truck of the year, amazing trucks. We have fun Jeeps, and then the exciting Dodge and Chrysler products. Lots of performance there, lots of excitement there. They've done a great job in really creating a full scope product line that could suit everybody's needs. Whether it's a family vehicle or a fun vehicle or a utility type vehicle or a big truck, we've got it all for our customers.
And we are back. Lights still on. Expected them to go off this time by as drivers are already trying to stack up with one another. My name is Sam Dyer. With me is that of Kevin England. And watching these drivers, this is the NASRA Triple M Pulling Truck Series, race number 5 here at Kentucky. And Kevin, I know we're pretty far in, but this is really a change for these drivers. They were expecting to go short track racing start of last week, changed it on Valentine's Day that they were going to Kentucky. And gotta say, for our second mile-and-a-half race number 5 here, it's been kind of, a lot of drivers up front saying single file racing. The middle of the pack's been chaotic side by side, but it's been all this driver, the 2 of Ted Wade, all day today.
Yeah, and under commercial break, we were talking about the 05 2 tires. Everybody's going to watch to see how that truck's going to perform here. And we've noticed Wade has taken the outside, opted for the outside for this restart. And yeah, we got some new players up here in this top 10. And we talked about the final run. Everybody's going to try and get that track position. Well, a couple of them have been successful. It should make an interesting run to the finish.
We're ready to go racing. We have ourselves 30 drivers on the lead lap. Joey Doucette, a driver that decided to come off and top up with fuel. Same with that of Dane Hagen. Going to be all the way back in 29th and 30th position. But up front, the 2's on the lap pedal. We are green. Hunter Parsons did not get going, and they're stacked up. They're 3 wide already. Going to be battling back for 4th place.
Yeah, Gregory didn't want to squander the run. He dove down under the yellow line, but he's able to pull back up as everybody gets up to speed. They're side by side out of 2, and they roll to that backstretch. Everybody looking for space to try and get whatever they can with the speed they have going into the corner.
And right now it is all Ted Wade ahead. Haney able to get by. LaBeouf trying to get by Hunter Parsons, but Parsons again, he's going to be on only 2 tires. Decided to just take right sides under this last caution break. And so right now, Hunter Parsons has to try to get aggressive here, do everything in his power to try to make a move moving forward. And he's only just stalling out. When he came in, he was back in 9th place. So currently he's a net gain. But for how long will Hunter Parsons have this slight advantage that he's hoping for? Because there's some hungry drivers behind. As the 48 drifts up, here comes that of Stephen Gregory, who's making a charge. As up front, it is all that of Haney, trying to run down Ted Wade.
Yeah, Wade again has broken out to a good, comfortable lead. No problem there, just setting sail. And I got to give a call to the 05 of Hunter Parsons. He's had a fast truck, and some of these drivers will change that left side and the truck actually turns better. But for right now, looks like he's struggling as he's getting shoved down the backstretch for Richards. Had to take evasive action to jump to the outside lest he get run over by Gregory. And man, 05 is just under assault here.
As right now, still in second place, Keith Haney just lingering now as you see the battling 05 of Hunter Parsons as well as that of Richards and Gregory continuing to stay side by side. The best racing action that we're going to be seeing as we hop on board with the 48 of that of Richards. And you can just tell the claustrophobic feeling when you get boxed in and see on the outside making the run. There goes Stephen Gregory making the pass over the 05 Hunter Parsons.
I talked to the, well, he had to almost let off, and that allows the 81 to drift down underneath him. So that's twice that he's got stuck trying to get that turn in and unable to do it and had to take evasive action across the two positions.
You can hear over the engine just letting off just slightly to try to get the entry of the corner, then back on the pedal. It's side by side still with the 81 of Taylor Peacock. As again, we were on board with the 48, that of Robert Richards, and Richards still battling along. But I think the big thing that we could take note while we were riding with the 48 for that lap, the wheel, we've not seen a lot of shimmying going around. It's a lot of the passing and aggressiveness is in the throttle of when you let off and when you get back into the gas.
Yeah, and if you're used to the sound, you could just hear the screeching of the tires as they're rolling through, using that right front tire up, trying to hold the traction and make the truck turn as they go through the corner. Now they're side by side again in front of Richards, and he's looking to see if that stall that's going to occur is going to allow him to get underneath Hunter Parsons. Finally, he's going to draw even with him coming off of turn number 2, and if he can follow in the slipstream of the 81 of Peacock, he'll be able to do it. But Parsons sails it in to the outside, and he's side by side, and he's got a good run off of 4. Don't put a stick in him yet. He's still going.
Still holding strong. Peacock as well, going to be still staying on the low end, and you could tell that there's a little bit of frustration building in the 48 of Robert Richards as he's still not able to make the pass just yet, as he's just stuck behind the wall of Peacock and Hunter, and now Hunter Parsons going to be on the outside, drifting back, and Richards going to be trying to make the move once again to the inside. But can he make the clear? Because that outside lane, almost a little bit of contact. The 48 drifts up. Got to give a big thanks to Hunter Parsons for letting off, because he could have spun that 48 in an instant.
I think he's banking on the fact that Parsons knows he's been working on him lap after lap, and once he gets through, Parsons should let him be, and that's going to bring Thomas into the mix. And how about the Mission 1 Esports Chevrolet, the Silverado of Justin Pitt sitting there in 9th, and he's looking to see if he can work his way up to the top 5 tonight.
Also the in and out machine of Jason, they're going to be seeing that one slowly making his way forward. Also, Frank Hart trying to get back into the top 10, running in 11th currently. Starting to see these drivers making their charge. Those that we've seen these last couple of weeks, and even just from last week, those that are being patient all race long, knowing that, hey, when it comes to the end of the race, I've learned all that I need through stage 1 and 2. All those notes come together. I'm going to have the right positioning to have a good finish at the end of the day.
And you were talking about it earlier, the 4, just trying to see what he could do to salvage a good race for Adam Newbert. As many good runs as he's had tonight, he slipped back to just, in danger of dropping out of the top 15. And Keith Bradley is back there with him. So what some gain, others have to lose. And unfortunately, Newbert's on the wrong side of this tonight.
Other drivers as well. You got that of Brian Abbott, as well as that of seeing some other drivers of Shepard and Quinn. And now you see also side by side in front of them. That's going to be the 4 of Adam Newbert, Keith Bradley, side by side. Shepard still working that outside lane, trying to find any type of a major run to start moving forward. You got these other drivers battling for 14th, 15th, 16th, and back. Watching this field currently, and Shepard and that of Abbott still not able to really figure out where they want to place themselves, as they've got the wall of the 29 and the 4 ahead of them.
Yeah, and up front, everything's kind of single filed out, and these guys are elbows up. Boy, I'll tell you, you race so hard sometimes out in the back of the race, you just pour yourself out of the truck, worn out. And Chris Cinnamon's right in that mix too. The back of his truck wrinkled in, trying to salvage whatever he can. And give a call to Logan Quinn in the number 44. Logan in the 18th position right now. And between Dana Shepard, Brian Abbott, Devin Painter, all of those guys, double-digit gains from deep within the field. That's tough to do here in Kentucky. So while, yeah, they're running back in about 15th or whatever, they've had a good night in trying to come forward.
Yeah, I mean, watching it right now, the 3, you can see just rolling around is that of Chris Cinnamon. And Cinnamon showing some speed, but right now it's going to be the 82 of Brian Abbott, who's making the charge, being able to make pass by the 4 and that of the 29 with ease. Abbott, who started back in 36th position, did not qualify here at Kentucky and was that in his cards, and now moving forward. And as well in front of him, Devin Painter, been able to move up to that of 13th position, as that of Keith Bradley able to make by that of Newbert and other drivers here. Kevin, the recovery and just salvage whatever you can. I think for some of these drivers, that's exactly what's on their mind as you see all the damage from those lingering in the middle of the pack. It's the 29 into the wall, going to be that of Keith Bradley, as well as we're going to be seeing that of Logan Quinn up into the outside wall. No yellow is thrown, but they are slow and almost collected more drivers. We stay green as the 29 stays low and expected to go into pit road.
Yeah, caught out of the corner of my eye, one of the trucks making a right-hand turn, and 3 trucks went to the wall. Pretty sure Bradley was one of those. Might have been the 3 of Cinnamon.
Front. Yeah, Logan Cinnamon and others, but up front right now, leader's going to be dealing with lap traffic, going to be forcing them to go 3 wide, and it's Peacock going to be on the inside, going to go through the middle. Very scary situation with James Morris, and contact once again with that of Peacock and Morris. Peacock over the radio, frustrated with the lap track in the way and causing the 81 to lose ground. We're going to see the 48 pulling away, same with the 23 of Stephen Thomas. But Peacock frustrated and finally able to get by, and Pitt's going to be following as well, and that of the 27.
Yeah, that's a case of situational awareness. And, you know, some of these drivers are just used to running a specific lane, and they really don't want to go out to no man's land. Just going to hold their ground and going to have to hustle for it.
Going to be coming across the line for these drivers. 34 laps to go. And into the pit road was that of Logan Quinn and Keith Bradley. And just a quick pit stop for that of Logan Quinn. Keith Bradley still in pit road after the incident. Again, that did not bring out a yellow flag. It's Peacock in pits for this 7th and 8th position, trying to run down and catch back up to that of Stephen Thomas and Richards that were able to pull away after the incident with the lap car that was slowing down both the 27 and the 81. Kevin, we're coming up to the end of this race. The drivers, they're now in question mode for fuel. Can they make it? Because for some of them, they're going to be about 10 laps shy from being able to make it all the way to the end of this race. So fuel window, if their next stop, could be a factor here. What's next for these drivers?
Yeah, you look at Richards, he's run really hard this stint. I have to wonder if he's got his tires angry and wants to look to cool them off. He's been slowly losing position after position, and this is what we talked about, this long potential green flag run right to green flag pit stops toward the end of this race with some of these drivers serving their truck, taking care of the tires. It could be an interesting change. In 10 laps, one driver could actually drive through it, and we see Chris Cinnamon heading to pit road would probably be his final stop, but he had some damage. He was one of those trucks up against the outside wall a little earlier.
Yeah, going to be one of the first drivers to come into pit road, expecting 4 tires and fuel. Plenty of time to get back out there on track. But now the goal for Chris Cinnamon is for this race to stay green so he can utilize this fresh rubber and try to gain as many positions as possible, as our leaders are running about a second, a little bit more than a second and a half slower than their fastest lap times. So right now is the best opportunity. If you come into pit road, gain time, try to get a net gain by undercutting the rest of the field. This is going to be a good opportunity as you see pits. And also Ted Wade into pit road for the 2.
Yeah, we'll call this action as the 2 rolls down. He's got to go all the way to the other end. He was in the first pit stall, and he's just going to slowly go down there. 45 miles an hour. And now the curiosity, is it 4 or 2 tires for the number 2? We'll see in just a second here as he cuts in. And he gets a good stop right in, and right side tires will go on. Packet full of fuel. Will they come around and do the laps? Yes, they will. 4 tires and fuel for the number 2.
And it makes sense. I mean, you got plenty of time to go out there, still come back, as here comes down that Taylor Peacock, who has to come into pit road. Same for that of Michael McKinnon and Anna Shepard, going to be the 3 drivers that are coming in for this go-around. But expecting drivers to start trickling in, recognizing they cannot make it to the end of this race. They have to come into pit road. And this is the dynamic that really kind of you hated for the drivers that brought out the last yellow, but this changes everything on drivers on when they have to come into pit road, because some are going to be trying to stretch it out as long as possible, as that of Robert Richards now into pit road to get himself packed with fuel. But a couple of drivers decided to go with right sides. Matt Rutter going to be one of those drivers that went with right side tires only, as it's going to be following in with Richards this go around. Adam Cantwell, as well as seeing that of Eric Zimmerman joining in the mix of the 48.
And as we watch the service for some of these trucks, we'll keep an eye on Wade in the number 2. For Wade, he's got to be careful. He's got such a fast truck, as it was 4 tires and fuel for the 16. Here we see the 23 of Thomas coming in. And, you know, for Wade, please, no cautions. Keep it green till it cycles through. That's what he's hoping for at this juncture.
Yeah, and for all these drivers that are coming in, this is their final set of tires. So for those that try to stay out as long as possible, this is going to be great if a late caution comes out. But if the race stays green, for those that have already pitted, they're in the advantage for themselves, because the longer you stay out there, the bigger the gap's going to be, and you might not have enough time to run down the leaders. As here comes the 78 of Haney going to be coming in, and as well following Haney is going to be that of Justin Pitts joining in the fray. But still, we have ourselves our top 13. All still need to come into pit road. Stephen Gregory, LaBeouf, that of Parsons, as well as Lumpkin, McKinnon, that of Painter, Morales, Newbert, plenty others that still need to come into pit road as the laps are ticking away, and we're coming up to 25 laps to go for our front runners.
Gregory takes over the lead here, and we'll see when he's going to choose to make his pit stop. One of the things about staying out a little longer, you're slower, but you'll need less fuel. So how does that trade-off work? It's hard to say, but Gregory comes out of turn 4 one more time, working lap 111 of 135. He's not going to pit road. He's going to stay out here and hold the lead for a little bit.
Also, for that of Keith Haney, he came and caught speeding, was the 78. That's why we were lingering on him for so long. Was wondering if maybe it was damage repairs, but it was a speeding penalty for the 78. So he'll be getting back out there, but going to be multiple laps down. Very costly mistake for Keith Haney, who was a driver that was potentially could have been racing for a top 3 finish here tonight.
As you see the mix of drivers at speed, drivers that have not pitted yet. We saw the 2 of Wade just went around our leader and put himself at the tail end of the lead lap. So at least if the caution comes out, Wade knows that he'll have that covered. You have to wonder if Gregory, watching that truck drive away, is thinking to himself, I need to pit. As you watch the 5 here and the 78. I expect the 78 will have to review that one, and woulda, coulda, shoulda. He was leading the race, dropped in, got a penalty, and that's just got to be a frustration on coming out of here tonight.
Yeah, for Haney, he's going to be frustrated, especially because now he's trapped a full lap down than the rest of the other drivers. As see Ted Wade currently in 12th position, going to be 27 seconds back from our leader currently. So going to be doing everything he can to go out and win this race. Richards, who came in just 2 laps later than Ted Wade, going to be finding themselves being 5 seconds back from the 2 machine. But these drivers are back in 12th and 13th, as there could potentially see a yellow come out that could change everything for these drivers. If a yellow does strike, I mean, this is the worst case scenario that could happen for Ted Wade, because that means he'd be on older tires and would be seeing some other drivers having some struggles. As here comes Dana Hagen, and Hagen almost brought out a yellow coming into pit road. There was a chance of the 39 almost bringing out a yellow, got extremely loose, and I think might have gotten a tap. That's where that rear damage came from. But should be good to not get a penalty here, as up front, watching some of these other drivers that are on the lead lap. Currently, here's Joey Doucette. Doucette's in an interesting spot here, Kevin, because Doucette topped off with fuel right at the end of that restart. Decided to take away the track position, go with the strategy call instead. So Joey Doucette's eyeing where is Ted Wade. If the 16 tries to just save fuel to possibly stretch this out as long as possible, waiting for a yellow.
You know, I was wondering if some of these drivers kind of pace themselves through there looking for this late pit strategy, and one of those trucks I was looking at was LaBeouf, and LaBeouf, he just went past Gregory, an aggressive pass on the front stretch, and took over the lead here as we watch this side-by-side battle. So there's strategy all over the place as to what's going to happen here, and, you know, ultimately, kind of like what Ted Wade did. He just pitted, and he's going to run as hard as he can to the finish, and we'll see where this shakes out. This race, oh, these guys are really tussling here.
That they are. We're watching the 16 currently of Joey Doucette on screen. Going to be having a couple of drivers that have already come to pit road. This is the factor of when over half, almost 3/4 of the field that's already coming to pit road. They've got fresher tires. They're going to be running faster than you. And if you're planning on coming into pit road, you've got to defend the inside so you can pull into pit road. That's what we're watching here for Joey Doucette. But again, Doucette pitted that of just 3 laps later than the rest of the field to top up with fuel to make sure that he was good to make it to the end of this race. Still having an extra set of tires to work with is Joey Doucette. Same with the rest of the drivers that are in the top 10. So watch out and see who might try to think about stretching this out as long as possible. But Ted Wade, like we noted, back on the lead lap, trying to run down our front 2. Currently, Brady LaBeouf, Stephen Gregory, they're still out here on track, but they're going to probably be thinking about pit up road here in the next 6 to that of 8 laps when they're going to be forced to come to the pit road.
So Doucette is good, but Wade is faster. Specifically, the lap times are enough that I think he's going to be able to catch him. And you know what? The scoreboard is just bouncing, flashing like a disco light. It's so hard to figure out how this is all going to shake out. And you have no idea how these two, when they pit, their shorter pit times, that's going to put them right in the mix too. So you just got to watch to the end to figure this out.
I don't even know if they're really going to have a shorter pit time, because they're going to have to take 4 tires. I mean, if they want to gain any of this time back that they've given up, they have to take tires. Just coming in for fuel, they're going to lose the lead to Ted Wade. So this point, their front 10 that still have not come to pit road, they're banking on a yellow to come out with this of seeing these laps ticking away. I think for the guys that are up front, they're getting nervous because they want the yellow. And for Ted Wade, he doesn't want it at all, because then he'd be the driver being on the much older tires than the rest of the field.
Yeah, I think you're right. Wade has run them down enough that if he just stays out on the racetrack, even if they have a shorter pit time and take 2 tires, he's still going to circle around them. So, yeah, we'll see. I'm not putting any money on the table as to how this is going to play out. I have no idea.
The unknown of a late yellow could change everything as we're watching the battling for the lead currently. It's Brady LaBeouf, winner from last week, and behind him going to be the 61, Stephen Gregory. Gregory, again, he's only had one good finish. That was at Watkins Glen at 10th place. Every other finish has been outside of the top 25. So the 61 looking for a great finish here, and now going to be following the lap car that just unlapped himself. That's going to be the 5 of Jason King Clark. We're now going to see the 61 taking back the lead. But is that truly where you want to be as the laps tick away? Coming up to 10 laps to go here in just a couple of laps here, Kevin.
I think if the opportunity presents, you're just going to turn the truck left and go take advantage of it. And LaBeouf is demonstrating that right now, looking to see if he can find the space to get around. And Gregory's been fast all night. Look at him stretch out here on him.
Trying to stretch out. It might be, a lot of the drivers backing off on their pace, trying to figure out the balance, right, of how much fuel do I truly need to save. They do have what we call a black box that is on screen for the drivers when they're racing on the sim to be able to see what the fuel window is looking like on that estimate. It is not the exact time when the drivers are going to have to come to pit road, but that estimate can change based on if you're clutching, if you're saving fuel in any fashion. For these drivers up front, you could tell, still racing hard to make sure that they're the leader as Stephen Gregory takes that spot. But LaBeouf's now backing off, not running as hard as he once was.
And, we need to look back just a little bit in that shot. We got Justin Lumpkin running in third, and he's in contact with both of these guys. So where does he end up in this mix? And then, what's fascinating is you have like Brian Abbott running 18th, and he's carving through these guys that are leading out front, and it just makes it so confusing to watch. But Lumpkin's to the back bumper of the number 9.
Yeah, I mean, he's finally caught up. Lumpkin's been just waiting. He's been running kind of slower than our front two until now. He started to pick up the pace just slightly, and Lumpkin now to the inside, going to be making the pass on Brady LaBeouf, showing that LaBeouf is most likely in fuel-saving mode, just hoping that he can make it all the way up here. Again, the drivers that still need to come into pit road going to be your top 9. Stephen Gregory, Justin Lumpkin, Brady LaBeouf, as well as Hunter Parsons, Devin Painter, Adam Newbert, as well as Joey Doucette, Raul Meza, as well as the one of Jason Morales. And then also there's another driver that got past, that of Jeffrey Sickles. It's in 16th. He's going to have to come into pit road as he's lost way more ground than he's gaining currently by staying out. But you want to make sure you don't just throw a race away, as we're seeing some drivers trying to make sure they do not just wreck this car. As you saw the 22 high and almost up into the wall. Potentially could have brought out a yellow there for a second.
And all I know is Wade loses the race. It's going to have to back analyze strategy, the chess match. And, at this point, I don't see him gaining enough to get a run on. The laps are running out, and he's got drivers in front of him. They can't all run out of fuel, or he can't get back. Not the pace that he had earlier when he was out front. So the million-dollar question is, we just watch these guys circle the racetrack. Do they have enough to get to the finish? It's going to be amazing.
I mean, it's going to be extremely close if they're going to be able to do that. Right now, Ted Wade is in full song, sending it, trying to catch up to our front runners, but the plateau of the lap time starting to kick in. It once was over a second and a half, now only a half a second is Ted Wade gaining on our front runners, and you look at the time and the laps, just running at that pace wouldn't be enough time, but at the same time, that our front runners, they're trying to save fuel to make sure that they can make it to the end. The driver that's, in a better place of trying to save fuel would be the driver that's in 7th place, that of Joey Doucette, again, who right before they went green decided to top off with fuel, but is being ran down, is only about 6 seconds ahead of that of Ted Wade, so that's going to be a big thing. But right now, Gregory, he's got to watch in his mirror because he tried to pull away from LaBeouf, did a great job at that, but Lumpkin now in the full song charge, trying to get back up into the lead as the laps tick away. It's now 5 laps to go here at Kentucky.
It almost looks like LaBeouf just rolled out and said, okay, you guys go, run out of fuel. I'm going to save enough. I'm going to win this thing. That's the only way he's going to get to the finish line. Is look at Parsons sitting there in 4th. Any one of these guys in the top 5 are looking at the strategy aspect of this and just counting the seconds to the end of this race, trying to figure out how it's all going to shake out.
Each lap that ticks away, the more questions of, do they have enough fuel to make it to the end? Right now, it's Gregory, Lumpkin, LaBeouf, your top 3. And right now, Lumpkin's trying to gain in, but a driver that could not stretch it too. It's going to be that of Morales in the 1, just taking off now, as well as that of Jeffrey Sickles. Both had to come into pit road, leaving us with just our top 8 that are still out trying to stretch fuel. 4 laps to go. coming up to 3 when they come across the line for the 61. It is now official. 3 laps to go here, Kevin. It's going to be close if they can do it, because Ted Wade, he's trying his best, but he now needs our front 8 to all run out of fuel if he wants to win here tonight.
Yeah, at this point, you're just sitting here watching him come through and wondering if you can hear the sound of the motor shut off or sputter when the truck runs out of fuel. But if he's going to win this thing, Stephen Gregory, he has done a masterful job of strategy. And as he comes down the backstretch, trucks at full song, I'll tell you what a great job in strategy he's played so far. It would be heartbreaking to see him lose at this juncture.
Watching, there's no clutching in that, but as we ride along with that of Stephen Gregory, our leader currently, we have 2 laps to go, has over a half a second ahead of Lumpkin. As we watch into the corner, he's just letting off, not clutching at all. So feeling comfortable and confident is that of Gregory, who's leading, coming out of turn number 4. Got 1 more lap to go. It is going to be our CRN. 1 to go here tonight. If you'd like to go check out more from the community network racing, go to wearecrn.com for more information. As it's that of Stephen Gregory, Lumpkin, and others trying to hold off Ted Wade. Some have already had to come into pit road, and now all eyes on the 61. Yes, he saved enough through 3 and 4. He's gonna be coasting on the inside. Lumpkin doing his best, but out of turn 4, back onto the throttle. He's still got power, still has fuel. It's going to be that of Stephen Gregory limping his way across the line and gets the win, and I think he ran out just about 200 yards away from the finish line. Congratulations to that of Gregory.
What an incredible job. Both Justin Lumpkin and Gregory and LaBeouf. LaBeouf comes up and gives him a little rub, and wow, how about that?
I think everyone
I would not have guessed that
coming
they would
across
have
the
been able to
line.
make it.
You see them all. They're all just puttering and trying to make it, and they're not even going to be able to make it to the line. 61. So many of these drivers are out of fuel. But congratulations, Stephen Gregory, for getting the win for the 61. Same for that of Justin Lumpkin, Brittany LaBeouf, Hunter Parsons, Newbert, Joey Doucette, Devin Painter. All the top 7 were able to make it on fuel when no one else really thought that they could. And Ted Wade, a race that he dominated, no one thought that he could be touched, comes away with 8th place. Let's see the 61. Just, can I get by? Give me a push. Someone help me get to the finish line.
Yeah, Newbert is trying to let Lumpkin get back to the pit road, and here's the 61 getting a push by the 81. And well, how's that for the top 2? That's a neat picture of teamwork there.
As already, that of Brady LaBeouf's waiting for the 61 to get there. And here they come, getting a bit of a push. And Taylor Peacock was certainly a driver that was aggressive here tonight, and he'll give a little bit of a spin to our winner, feeling like he got a donut there. As parking it at the line, it's going to be your winner here tonight, Stephen Gregory. Congratulations on the win. He'll be at the butt kicker victory lane. He's going to need to get a push possibly to victory lane, but at least he's at the line here tonight. Well, what a race, Kevin, it was. As we take a look here at our finishing results, it's going to be that of Stephen Gregory, that of Justin Lumpkin, Brady LaBeouf, Hunter Parsons, Adam Newbert, Joey Doucette, Devin Painter, Ted Wade, that of Stephen Thomas, and also that of Robert Richards. Going to be finishing out your top 10 here tonight.
Jacob Klinkart in the 5 finishes 11. Justin Pitts, good run for him, hanging in there for 12. 13th, Taylor Peacock. Brian Abbott in the 82 finishes 14th. 15th is going to be Michael McKinnon, last one on the lead lap. Adam Cantwell in 16th. 17th for Dana Shepard. Ed Osborne in the 42 comes up to 18th. 19th tonight for Dane Hagen. And it'll be Matt Rudder in the 20th position.
21st is going to be that of Chris Cinnamon, as well as that of Cody Knott. Roland Meza, Eric Zimmerman's going to be 24. To finish out your 25 is going to be that of Derek Kilgore, as well as that of Jason Morales, who had to come into pit road there late with the 44 of Logan Quinn. Jeffrey Sickles, that of James Morris, and also that of Zach Hartwick, going to be finishing out your top 30 that were able to finish out tonight's race with that of Keith Haney and also Keith Bradley. But it was Raul Meza, that of our points leader coming into tonight. We'll see after tonight. Going to be that of Daniel Belder, going to be coming away with 34th. Kyle Hess, Stephen Williams, as well as that of Curtis Hayden, who didn't even start for that of the 95. 36 drivers hit the green, but man, was it crazy to see at the end. Fuel strategy was the key to get 61 to victory lane. We're going to step aside. When we come back, we talk to our top three at that of the finish line post-race show. We'll be back in just a few. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to this, the Finish Line post-race show. It is the NASRA Triple M Pulling Truck Series, race number 5 at Kentucky. And it turned into a fuel strategy race where we got to see that of Stephen Gregory getting to victory lane. A little bit of assistance after crossing the line in first. But we also have our other top 3 finishers. We're going to start things off with Brady LaBeouf in the 9. Brady, what a run for yourself. Coming away 3rd place, but we saw there at the end, you were trying to run up front, but then you backed out. Were you trying to save fuel there in those final 10 laps?
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. When I passed Steven, I was like, man, I think I'm 0.8 to the good. But then as I started kind of pulling away from him, it started going down, and I got paranoid. So I was like, you know what? Let me just let Steven go by, and I'll just draft off of him. And then Justin got right there. Well, I started pushing in the clutch, getting into the corners. And I was like, just go, Justin. You know, maybe they'll run out. And then come to find out, I was one whole lap to the good.
Kevin, you got a question?
Yeah, Brady, how much of an impact did the other cars who took fuel have on the final stint for your race?
Oh, I would say a lot because when Ted, I felt like Ted pitted, and I knew he was a lap down, and he was kind of like my baseline, like my marker. And when I had passed Steven, I believe he had came by, and I said, okay, well, I need to know where Ted's at, because if he starts running fast lap times, which I know he was pedaling it, all the way to the end. Where would I end up at? And as long as I was, I think I asked somebody, where's Ted at? And they were like, oh, he's on the back stretch. And I was coming across the start finish line, and we only had like 10 laps to go. I was like, okay, well then I don't have to worry about Ted no more. So it was in the back of my head, but then I got a little bit, better information with 10 to go.
Brady, it was a great run for yourself, third place here tonight. And before we let you go, the floor is yours for any shout-outs.
Yes, I appreciate it. First off, thank you, LSRTV. We appreciate everything you do for our league. If you guys are looking for a broadcast, please give Cody a call. He's one of the best in the business. Sam, Kevin, you guys are great. I want to thank NRE Power Systems, Mission One Esports, my teammates, my wife, the kids, Butt Kicker, Sim Racer Hubs, come on board to help us out. A's Lawn and Landscaping Services, come on and sponsored a couple of races for us, so we appreciate them. And just the league. Thank you for Michael for helping build it with us.
That's going to be the 9 at Brady LaBeouf, finishing with a third place finish here tonight. And good luck, Brady, going into next week, as it is the iRacing Super Speedway that's next on the schedule.
Yep, should be fun. Thank you, guys.
And now we go to second place. We find that of Justin Lumpkin. And Justin, second place, you came close, but it was down to a fuel push at the end. What was your thoughts, though, coming to those final 5 laps here tonight?
Man, honestly, I thought I was better off than what I was, but I guess those last maybe 8 or 10 laps, I started pushing a little harder than I thought I was. My fuel mileage kept saying I was 2 to the good, and I come to the last lap. He said, or come to 2 to go, and it says this is your last lap of fuel. So then it kind of gets in my mind. I'm like, am I going to make it or not? And about the same spot that Steven ran out, I ran out. I think if I could have had 500 more feet, I might have been able to get him, but it was still a good race run by Steven, myself, and Brady on fuel mileage. Everybody in top 5, really.
Justin, how hard was it to climb through the field to get to a shot for a win tonight?
Wasn't too bad. There was turns 3 and 4, man. If you got under somebody and they got off of it soon enough to get back into the gas fast enough, it was hard to pass out of 3 and 4 for sure. We started 13th, just kind of hung around there, got a few stage points, and just tried to take care of our truck. I mean, I've made a few mistakes the past few weeks where I could have had a lot better finish than what I did, and I'm glad to finally put one together.
That you did. Came away with second place here tonight. And Justin, before we let you go, the floor is yours for any shout-outs.
Yeah, man. First of all, I gotta thank God for everything. Without him, we ain't doing any of this. Darren's nail gun repair, Powers Performance, Millie's landing, NASRA, Butt Kicker, and you guys here at LSRTV, man, y'all do a great job. And then I gotta thank Brady and Mike, of course, for putting this league on, man. It's great.
Going to be Justin Lumpkin in the 87, getting a second place finish here tonight. And Justin, good luck into the madness. It's going to be next week.
Thank you, sir.
And now we head down to our Butt Kicker victory lane, where we find ourselves with that of Stephen Gregory in the 61. Stephen, what a run for yourself. At what point did you feel like you had enough fuel to make it to the end?
Honestly, I didn't believe I had enough. When Brady let me go by, and he came over and said that he had to save 0.5 or 0.4 or something, and I was joking with him. I had a half gallon to the good, but realistically, I didn't believe I had any. So I had my teammate Hunter coaching me on fuel, was telling me that he was 0.2 to the good, and we had about the same amount of gallons left. So I was honestly just praying to God that it was going to withstand and get me to the line.
Hey, congratulations on the win there, Stefan. And I had in my notes for practice to keep an eye on you, and you didn't disappoint us here tonight. Were you on fuel conservation mode as soon as you went back to green?
No, I had a strong belief that we were going to get another caution. And then once I seen Ted go in with about 35 to go, I was praying for a caution until about 10 to go. Then I didn't want to see a caution after that. But I thought for sure we were going to get a late race caution, and that was just going to screw my whole strategy and everybody else's up. Which I'm glad we didn't get one. Thank God.
Yeah, I mean, there were a lot of people that with all different strategies thrown out, and luckily yours turned out the best there, Stefan, getting the win here tonight. And before we let you go, the floor is yours for any shout-outs.
I need to thank you guys, LSRTV, for doing the whole broadcast. Brady, Mike, for the league, everybody here at races with us. My teammates, Matt Rudder, Hunter Parsons, and Taylor Peacock at Straight Cash Money. Those guys are awesome teammates. They've helped me this season. And just everybody here. I mean, this is just one hell of a league.
Well, Stefan, congratulations on the win and giving yourself a berth into the playoffs. And now you got to focus about going into next week, which that should be a chaotic one. But for tonight, congratulations and have a fun one celebrating this.
Oh, and hang on. I do thank Brady LaBeouf. He knows why I'm thanking him, but I do thank him. My bad. Sorry.
All good. That's going to be Stefan Gregory getting the win here tonight for the 61 machine, as that was your butt kicker victory lane and your finish line post-race show. And Kevin, before we call it a night for ourselves, what are some of your final thoughts here at Kentucky and thinking about the future of the potential of heading to the iRacing Super Speedway?
Yeah, the track didn't disappoint. We knew that this mile and a half would be play for an interesting race. We thought we might see fuel mileage. We thought we might see long green flag runs. We thought we'd see green flag pit stops, and we got all three of those. And congratulations to Stefan Gregory. What an outstanding race. And man, talk about playing the strategy absolutely perfect, Sam. It was an exciting event, and I'm looking forward to heading to iRacing.
iRacing Super Speedway is going to be the next destination, the 3-mile Super Speedway. That is a handful, and it's going to be awesome to watch here. Cannot wait for it. But for tonight at Kentucky, race number 5 of the season for the NASRA Triple M Pulling Truck Series, congratulations to that of Stefan Gregory with the fuel mileage run to get the win here tonight and a berth into the playoffs. Well, for myself, Sam Dyer, for Kevin England, thank you for joining us. Also to LSRTV Studios for giving us all the amazing camera and graphics here tonight. Thank you for joining us. It was pretty clean and green once we got to the end. Fuel mileage was the key. Gregory got the win. For us, have a great rest of your night. We'll see you on the next broadcast.